Thanks for joining me on Life and Surround. This is what I believe will be the last video I'm going to do on the Harmony Codex by Steven Wilson. Now that I've had a chance to stream the Atmos version of the album and then also listen to the Atmos version of the album on Blu-ray, and then finally, thanks to a local friend who loaned me his copy, I've been able to go over and somewhat digest the deluxe set of the album. Now, I want to just kind of give like an overall commentary of, all of these experiences and also just discuss this deluxe set. As some of you know, at least to my knowledge, the deluxe set is sold out at this time, but Steven Wilson and his team are considering a reprinting, a repress, and I think that will happen given that the deluxe set sold out very rapidly and maybe there was an underestimate of interest. I'm pretty sure that at least a second edition is coming, okay? So therefore, it could be valuable for you to know whether you want to spend the money for the deluxe set, which I think was somewhere around $100 US, something like that. Or maybe if they reissue the Blu-ray, or if there's still some copies on Amazon UK or Amazon Germany somewhere. As far as I know, this is sold out, but don't quote me on that unless I'm right. And if you search for a copy and find one, good for you. And maybe, post a comment letting everybody know. All right. The Blu-ray, the standalone Blu-ray is different than the Blu-ray that comes in the deluxe set. All right. So just a brief recap. I feel that the Blu-ray audio is better defined than the streaming Atmos version of the album. And so therefore, I do recommend utilizing the Blu-ray version of the Atmos for your listening pleasure. If streaming is what is available to you, go for it. I enjoyed the streaming experience. I just, found better definition and was able to get a little bit better connected with the material via Blu-ray. Okay. So that is what it is. I wish that the Blu-ray were just available to everyone, but that is not always the case. All right. So the deluxe set, you get 3 discs contained inside a book, 2 CDs and a Blu-ray. And I'll discuss those in a second, but I just want to kind of go through the book a little bit. You get some art pages. You get this this skyscraper, this high rise, which is featured in the short story. There's a short story called the Harmony Codex. You get this table of contents, which just has page numbers inside the colored squares representing each song. You get these kind of, artistic kind of collage style pages, and you get credits. And you get track listings for the various discs. Each song has its own section. So you get a title page, you get lyric pages, and then interspersed through all that, you get the short story that he wrote called the Harmony Codex. And it's worth noting that you can find the short story in his autobiography, limited edition of 1, either in hard copy or in audiobook form. Okay, so I actually the other day chose to read the story in this deluxe set, read along as I listened to Steven Wilson recite the story from his audiobook. So that was pretty cool. And let me see, anything really, really notable. You get his self-portrait, which I don't know. I don't think this is quite the best look that Steven Wilson has ever presented, especially since he's, made a push into popular territory with a kind of a pop sound and some streamlined songs and trap beats and stuff. I don't think this is the best look for someone in the pop field, but oh well. He also is, solidly in like the the artistic art music field, art rock, prog rock. So, that is what it is. Okay. So the discs, CD1, you get the album in stereo. CD2, you get harmonic distortion, which is reinterpretation, remixing, and even like, just reinterpreting like musical differences across quite a few of the album tracks. Generally speaking, I like the harmonic distortion versions of these songs a bit better than the album versions. The one major exception I would say is the Michael Ackerfeld track, Time Is Running Out. Given that it just feels like an ineffective mix to me, Ackerfeld's vocal is mixed very loudly, and I don't know if maybe it was a rushed mix or an abandoned mix. I'm not sure. But other than that, I really enjoy harmonic distortion quite a bit. And I wish it had been mixed into Atmos and 5.1 so it could be enjoyed in multi-channel. But alas, it only exists on CD2. And then the Blu-ray that comes in the set features not only the album in high-res lossless stereo 5.1 and Atmos, but also instrumental mixes of the entire, the 10 tracks of the album, also in high-res lossless stereo 5.1 and Atmos. You also get the same two videos that come on the standalone Blu-ray, which are Economies of Scale and the Harmony Codex, sadly only presented in stereo. But because of the 3 preview tracks, that came out ahead of album release, which were previewed in stereo, and then the 2 videos on the Blu-ray, gave me a chance to sample Steven Wilson's stereo approach, and not to mention harmonic distortion. I don't think he's done all of the stereo mixes for this project. I saw in the credits that at least one of the songs was mixed by someone else. But Steven Wilson has done effective stereo mixes generally. I have not listened to the 5.1, so I apologize to those who wish I would. But Steven Wilson is a master at 5.1 and Atmos mixing, so I would just be shocked if the dedicated 5.1 mixes here are not outstanding. And then he has done just a fabulous job with his Atmos mixes. I only wish that he had gone ahead and done all the tracks. Even for other bands, he's done, a huge quantity of Atmos mixing, like, for Who's Next, he not only did the entire album, but a lot of the bonus tracks. And I just wish that he would do that for his own albums as well, because sometimes, like I said, I prefer the non-album tracks. All right, the Harmony Codex story, like I said, it is printed inside the book. Is that a reason to get the deluxe set? Well, I'm not sure. Maybe it is for you. But you can also read that or listen to that in his autobiography, limited edition of 1. It is the same text. And then I believe a friend told me that there is like a digital version of the deluxe, maybe through iTunes or somewhere like that, where he actually reads the Harmony Codex story again and with a bit more production. Like there is a female voice actor for the sisters' parts, and I think some sound effects and stuff. So there are a variety of ways to enjoy the short story. It is an interesting, somewhat hard to understand and somewhat sad story. I'll give just the briefest recap. It's 2 kids travel to go visit their somewhat estranged father. I think he abandoned them for a while, but then came back into their lives, and they're struggling. They don't feel connected to him, but for some reason they're visiting him anyway. And they buy some muffins, if I recall, some cupcakes. And unfortunately, as they visit his high-rise building where he works, there is an explosion, multiple explosions. And, there's damage and there's harm, and, there is possibly some death. And the brother becomes separated from his sister, and he goes to search for her and there's this endless stairwell where, he knows for sure that he has climbed further than the building could possibly be in height. And he ends up in this kind of like, just kind of very vague and like, ethereal sort of office area. And then this fog envelops his sister, and she vanishes. And so I interpret it, that the brother has lost his sister somehow. And it's hard to know whether it was on the day of these explosions or if it happened in the past, or if these explosions happened in the past and, he's much older now. The story questions memory and reality and dreams, am I dreaming you, or are you dreaming me, type of thing. Okay. So I think it's a story, worth reading. I think it definitely gives some insights, although, vague and maybe, open to interpretation of, Mr. Wilson's mind and his interests. Now, the album, do the 10 tracks of the album tell the story of Harmony Codex? No, they don't. And I would say that only a handful of them even really strongly refer to the story. Like there's reference to a train set in one of the songs, and there's a train in the story. There, one of the songs is called, Staircase, and Staircase is a prominent part of the artwork, and then also, a very, very key part of the story. Several of the songs mention fog in one way or another. Several of the songs mention some sort of, villainous character, like maybe a narcissist, or, just somebody who's very selfish or greedy. That could be the estranged father. And then obviously, Harmony Codex pushes most strongly toward the story. But, are these 10 songs really, strong companions to the short story? In my opinion, they're not. I find a lot of the lyrics on the album to be rather difficult to decipher. And so, yeah, that kind of leads to some points that I'd like to make. Across the 10 tracks of this album, I don't really hear a strong song that's really going to stick with me and have me humming it years from now. Like, I still hum Hand Cannot Erase to myself. I still hum People Who Eat Darkness. So is there a song here that I feel is that strong as a song, melodically, lyrically? I don't feel that there is. In fact, I feel that this album's true strength is in its sonic mastery. This is definitely one of Steven Wilson's best Atmos efforts. And it seems to me that this album was written, recorded, and designed with immersive sound intended from the very beginning. And I think that has just been delivered absolutely brilliantly. I don't find any of the songs to be particularly strong, just in the sense of, like I said, like a tune, like a catchy tune that's really going to stick with me long term. That doesn't mean that there aren't some very, very awesome tracks here, because there are. I have some favorites like Impossible, Tightrope, and Time Is Running Out, and Harmony Codex. But I also have like a song that I just really, really don't like much at all, and that would be Actual Brutal Facts. But, I have heard and read opinions from other fans and other, listeners that like that's their favorite track. Okay. And then in terms of, just whether you may or may not want to buy the deluxe set if it goes into reprinting, there are some minor typos. Like I found at least one misspelled word, and I found a few instances where there's like 2 spaces instead of 1, just some minor typographical issues. So, all right, I hope this video has been helpful to you. I do rather like this album, even though I don't think it's super strong in the tune department. Now, one thing that may be compelling for you in terms of the deluxe set is that the Blu-ray comes with the instrumental versions of the album. And so that kind of removes those opaque lyrics and just allows you to enjoy the songs more as soundscapes. And I think they are pretty strong soundscapes. Although when the vocals are removed, now those tracks, in my opinion, lack some melodic hookiness, okay? So, you know, maybe there's no perfect version of this for me, but maybe there is a perfect version of this for you. But like I said, I do enjoy the short story. I've enjoyed it mainly in audio form. And then I do enjoy the instrumental versions of the songs of these tracks quite a bit. So that's probably where I feel like the most pure experience is for me, to listen to the music and then to take in the short story. And you may have an entirely different experience. You may have entirely different appreciation of what is on offer here. So I would love it if you left your opinions, leave comments. If you like what I do, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, share these videos, and, you know, enjoy Steven Wilson's music. He is one of just the greatest mixing engineers of our time. He's no slouch at stereo, and he's just awesome in 5.1 and Atmos. He not only mixes his own work, but he does remixes for other groups. Like I said, you know, Who's Next, and he's done tons of Jethro Tull and King Crimson and a lot of pop stuff like Tears for Fears. And honestly, my surround and immersive collection would be greatly diminished if it weren't for his remixing work, and if it weren't for my favorite of his own material. And maybe I should do a video soon of my favorite, you know, Steven Wilson project releases. I think that could be fun, because he's involved in a multitude of different projects: Porcupine Tree, No Man, Storm Corrosion, Bass Communion, his self-titled, you know, Steven Wilson stuff, his solo stuff, as it were. So, and then, you know, his remixes across other groups. Just a tremendous talent, and has just richly benefited my own collection and my musical enjoyment. And so I have great respect for Steven Wilson. So I encourage you to support him, as I will continue to. I like this album quite a bit, with some qualifiers, you know. So I certainly can point to other works of his that I prefer, just, you know, according to my taste. And do I think you should check out the Harmony Codex in one way or another? Streaming, CD, vinyl LP, Blu-ray, deluxe set? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I think it is a very interesting work, and very interesting that he's chosen to do this sort of album at this stage of his career. I think if he really wanted to, he could put out an album of 10, you know, pop songs, all several minutes long, and all, you know, following some sort of formula. I do want to note that he does have some strong guest musicians here: Nanette Tayeb, and you know, and others in support. And so I look forward to future works. I hope he continues to collaborate with strong musicians who bring something special, just something different to his work. And I look forward to, you know, the various projects that he continues to be involved in, and remixes that he chooses to do for other groups. Just what an incredible artist and engineer and benefactor of my very much beloved pastime, listening to surround and immersive music, just getting engaged and getting lost in the music. So thank you, Steven Wilson. I hope all of you appreciate this video in one way or another, and I hope that you all are living life in surround.